Hello and welcome, guys. I am here with Love. Once again, Love has become a regular on our channel. We're doing these beautiful human design master classes. I'm so excited for this. I got a little bit of a sneak peek today of what this master class is going to look like. And I have to just say, I love your I love doing that myself when I'm doing, especially when I'm doing composite chart or synastry readings, because I watch a lot of shipping shows and I love seeing relationships and studying them. Oh man, I'm a big Degrassi nerd, 90210. Give me any sort of shipping show and I love to explore relationships from that dynamic. So I love that you do that with human design. It
Yeah.
speaks my language. I'm just so excited to have you here. And I'm a generator, so I'm excited to learn new things
Ooh.
about being a generator. I've been living in my design for about 8 years now, and finally things are coming to a crescendo. Do
Yeah.
you find jumping in that it takes a specific amount of time to get into your groove once you've understood your design, or is it something that can usually click right away?
Yeah, so it's funny that you said for 8 years because I've seen people say because our body fully like replenishes in 7 year cycles.
Mm-hmm.
So they've people have said that it sometimes takes people like 7 years to kind of like detox all the stuff out, to start doing it the new way, to really integrate it, and then it becomes like cemented. So you're a gold star student. You're like year 8, it's amazing. I did it. So yeah, I think it's
I'm
it's
living
really
proof. Living
yes.
living proof that human design is excellent. So we're so glad to have you here today, and I think my students are really going to enjoy this. If you guys have been struggling with burnout, if you've been
Mhm.
struggling out with like finding your purpose or, finding your groove, finding environments that are good for you, this class is really going to help you. So without further ado, I'm going to give the lead today to Love. Love, you are the main character today. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, maybe talk a little bit about how you got into human design, and then we can just dive in.
Mm.
So, guys, I will still be here, and maybe I'll throw in some questions down the road, but I'm happy to
Yeah.
let love rule,
Thank you.
as Lenny Kravitz would say.
Yes. Okay. I got into human design from a podcast. I was listening to a podcast where a human design reader was on there talking about human design. They did like a few like mini chart readings for the hosts, and I was like, what is this thing? And then I saved up my coins and I got a human design reading from that same person. And I didn't really do too much with it. And then I just started like getting into it way more. And I was like, oh, I love this. I feel like my Mars in Virgo really enjoys, and a lot of my clients share that they enjoy the practicality because astrology feels very interpretive to them. For a lot of people, it's different. But with human design, it's like this is the thing. There's no other interpretation. Although I do think there's different ways to apply it and use it. So this will be good to show everyone generators and things. So I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. What other things should I talk about? Yeah, I do human design readings. I know you're talking a little bit about relationships. I do human design readings where we look at like synastry of people, couples, families, all different types of stuff, business partners. I have a lot of seventh house placements, so relationships are my thing. But here we are, generators. Generators are one of the five design types. It's hard to see. There's a hybrid type called manifesting generator that we'll do a separate whole masterclass on because they're slightly different. So yeah, generators are the most abundant design type on the planet, including manifesting generators. They make up about 70% of the population. Generators are one of the original design types with manifestors, and they're pretty much powering humanity. They're powering the human race. They're providing source energy for everybody on Earth. So let's get into like some fun stats about generators. So, like I said, make up six people say 60 to 70%. It's if you look at direct numbers, they'll say 37% of the population is pure generators, and then 33 are manifesting generators. They basically are like the Energizer bunnies, the worker bees of the world. So they have this strong source of energy that they wake up with every single day that replenishes every single day. Obviously, if you're a generator, you're like, wait, I'm tired. That can probably mean we're working out of our alignment. So this will be very helpful for you. But yeah, they basically have this plug to the Earth's core, to the source energy, and they're able to just kind of like play with that. And if you're doing things that you love and bring you passion, then that energy just like builds exponentially. And that's why they're considered like energizer bunnies or worker bees, because generators can do a lot in one day. Like they can do the work of like 5 humans if it's something that they're really excited about and they really love. And that's a key piece that we'll talk about a lot more. So they're here to build things and do repetitive tasks. So a lot of people feel like, I'm not the special one. I'm a generator like most of the population, but the generators are the ones that literally bring like creative ideas into this world. Like they have, oh, I want to make this, oh, I want to execute this, or like I'm working with a manifestor or projector and I'm helping them bring their idea into this world. So they're the ones that like literally create all the stuff that we have in this realm. And I want to kind of explain it that way because I don't want people to feel like I'm not special. I'm not a unique, rare one. You totally are special. Yeah, so here to power humanity. So if you saw back here in their aura, this is the aura types. We'll go over them more. This is kind of like a magnetic, open, enveloping aura. So when people are in generators' proximity, they give them extra energy, like they get empowered. It's very good for ADHD if you're into body doubling. You being in someone's presence who's excited to do something gives you that energy, and that's what generators also bring for humanity, is just this excitement energy that pushes us all to do the things, to make the things. They're meant to follow their joy and excitement. So when we talk about the pop culture references, my quintessential generator is like SpongeBob and like living your life as much as possible. I know there's capitalism, there's all the things, but you're designed to follow your joy, your excitement, your curiosity. And that's how you maintain that connection to all that energy that you have. And you're supposed to follow your own rhythm and flow. Again, if we're following what we like, if we're following what excites us, and we're saying no to the things that don't and that drain us and we're not interested in, that means we're going to be marching to the beat of our own drum. We're supposed to listen to our ebb and our flow, as generators can be really into something for like 10 years and then just wake up and be like, I'm no longer into this. So you're meant to listen to that joy, that flow of where you're being called to. And kind of touched on this. They'll have passions throughout their life that they must master. So generators are meant to focus on one thing at a time, but I find generators will often cycle through, they'll have like more long-term phases. So like I said, you might do a career for 10 years and then want to try a new career. You might be into a hobby for a year and then want to swap out and do a different hobby, or even like you might be really into a certain food and then you're done with that food. So a lot about your passion might change, but that's part of letting the journey unfold and listening to the rhythms that you have. And then, yeah, strong creative and manifesting abilities. A lot of people think like manifestors are the only ones that can manifest, but generators are supposed to be like, ooh, I feel really excited to create this and to make this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I have all the energy that it takes to put in the time and effort to create this thing. A lot of artists can be generators because a lot of art is very small, repetitive tasks, making thousands of brush strokes or crocheting thousands of pieces of chains of yarn. So it takes a lot of energy to sustain and master something to make it really great. Um, so yeah. Okay, so let's look into their aura. This is just another different version of what the aura looks like. So it's open and enveloping. So you can see the arrows in this aura are going inwards. So think of generator's aura kind of as like a planet's orbit, that gravitational pull that a planet has that will pull something into it. And that's pretty much how generators work and manifesting generators. So this orbit that you have, this aura, is number one, pulling other people in because you're powering other people. It's supposed to be open and inviting, like, hey, come over here, come join me, come work with me, come, join the passion and the excitement. But also, generators are designed to respond to their surroundings, to respond to opportunities, to external things in their environment. So their aura sort of works as this magnet to pull in those aligned opportunities. And this is a key thing that I think is a really important tip. Whatever energy you're outputting, whatever frequency you're outputting, is what you will attract with your aura as a generator. So if you have a belief that's limiting or harmful or something negative, and you think, oh, only these things happen to me, then your aura will keep pulling in those types of opportunities and those things that align with what your energy is outputting. So it's really important. Like, I think a lot of people talk about this, like once they clear out and make those shifts, then everything just seems to like fly in and make sense. And it's because if your energy is like, yes, I want more of this, I want to make space for this, I'm really excited by this, then you're going to pull in things that match that, that kind of enable that and add and build on top of it. So, yeah, that's where you're not like manifesting, quote unquote, is just knowing that your aura is going to pull in those opportunities that are best for you. And then we'll talk about how to use your authority and all those pieces, which is your intuition or your inner guidance to tell, like, do I want to do this opportunity or do I not want to do this opportunity? Do I have the energy to do it or do I not? But yeah, that's how your aura kind of works. So know that you're kind of magnetic and you're pulling people and situations and things and opportunities to you at all times. So just think about what you want to pull in and try and kind of, align your energy or your thoughts on that frequency as much as possible. I know you don't have to police yourself, but try and think in that sense, and then you'll keep pulling in those things. And I will say a lot of the frequency or the energy that I'm talking about, this is backed by our actions, right? So if we're saying, I want this, but then we're going back on a boundary, we're overextending our energy, we're signing on for projects just because we can, that's what you're showing the universe. So our actions are important in this as well. So what we're prioritizing and what we're making space for will also keep coming back to us. Okay, so in human design, oh, we have chat. I didn't see your chat. Sorry. I think you just put something in the chat. Oh my God. The chat window is always so tiny. You create so much content because you love it. Yeah, you're here to be like a creation machine. Okay, so self and not self theme. So the self theme is satisfaction, and the not self theme for generators is frustration. So, what are these things? So, according to human design, when we're working within our design and in our alignment, we'll be experiencing our self theme. And this is a great feedback loop system. So, if you're prioritizing your passion and your joy, you're using your energy through your creative outlets, or the things that you're interested in, and you're tired at the end of the day in a positive way, then you're going to feel satisfaction. And that's a more cerebral like concept satisfaction. So think about like what it feels like when you eat like your favorite food and you feel satisfied at the end of your meal, or when you've created like a project and you finish it and you look at it and you feel like, wow, this is exactly what I wanted. This is great. So think about how you experience satisfaction in your body. So for me, as a manifesting generator, we have the same not self and self themes. For me, satisfaction sort of feels like I have completed everything. I have this sense of like fitfulness that it's like I don't need to do anything else. I feel complete. I feel at peace in my body. Like it sort of feels like I'm this like little like levitating monk. Like I've reached enlightenment sort of feeling. Like I just get this sense like I don't need to do anything else. This feels so fulfilling and great that I'm complete. But satisfaction again for you might feel like like a full stomach, warmth in your body. Try and listen to those nuances when you complete tasks that feel really good for you, that are tied to your passions, and notice what that satisfaction looks like for you. Other ways that the satisfaction can come up is fitfulness, healthy exhaustion. This is because we have that energy, that big store of energy at the beginning of every day, and generators are designed to follow their joy and their passion to output that energy. If you're not having an outlet for that energy that you have every day that feels good and in alignment, then you're gonna, at the end of the day, feel like stressed or anxious, and it might be hard to go to bed because you didn't output that energy and kind of like spend it. We're meant to spend it every single day to the emptiness. And that's sort of what the healthy exhaustion is supposed to be, where you're like, I feel like I've used up all the energy that I have in a way that feels good to me. And I feel like I can rest. I can let go. That's sort of that productivity piece for me, where it's like I see it as like I don't need to do anything else. The other healthy exhaustion might be like your think I'm keep thinking of the energy as like the the canisters and the scream canisters in Monsters Inc. It's like when your bar is at the bottom, you're like, time for bed, I'm sleepy. Like that's how you know like you've used up your energy in a positive way, and you're not just like sitting in bed like, oh, I should have done that, I could have done this, I this isn't fulfilling for me. Like that's not the proper exhaustion. Feeling engaged is also another self-theme. So just like getting in the flow of things, getting sucked in, spending hours doing a thing, doing like 10, 20 tasks and not feeling tired, feeling very like really another one is excited, feeling excited about the work that you want to get up and do it. You want to spend time working on this. Those are all great feedback loops that it is in alignment for you. And I will say especially for like business owners, this is something like I had to kind of become mindful of is like if you're not charging your right pricing and it feels like it's not an equal energy exchange, then you start to feel kind of like resentful or like you need to hurry up and get it done, versus feeling like, yeah, that's fine. I can give you all the time that I need. I'm excited to show up for you. I'm happy to take this time for you. That's another kind of like nuanced piece for business. The not self theme. This is when we're not working in our design and things become hard. So frustration. So I used to live a lot in my not self theme. My catchphrase that I would say all the time is like, I'm not angry, I'm just like frustrated. I'm just annoyed. I'm annoyed. I would say it all the time. And so that's kind of like an indication that we're not working in our design. So if you're getting frustrated at a part of the process, if you're getting frustrated with a person or a dynamic, a situation, a project, that's an indication that we're not working in our alignment. And of course, I know like we have so many things in our life that we have to do and all that kind of stuff. So we want to try and when we feel that frustration, take a step back and assess. Is it something I need to just stop doing because I've moved on and my energy just isn't there, is not excited to do this thing anymore? Do I need to adjust it? Do I need to do it differently? Because one of these pieces can be like trying to make things work, trying to like logically fix, and like it feels like you're constantly up against a wall. Like I try this and it doesn't work. I try this and there's an issue. I try this and there's a roadblock. That's an indication that we're like not going with the flow, which is how you're designed as a generator. So it'll lead to the frustration, like, oh, I keep trying it, but it's not, going the way that I want it to. So then take a step back and reassess. Feeling stuck, that's kind of what I was talking about a little bit. If you feel like you can't move, you can't go to the next space, you're not making progress, that or feeling frustrated about the progress that you're making, that can be another not self theme. Feeling inundated, like you've taken on too many things, you just said yes to all the opportunities and you didn't first listen to your inner authority if it's something you have the energy for or something you want to do. Feeling inconsistent. It can feel like you're sometimes making progress, not making progress, sometimes doing the things you love, not always doing the things you love, or you say yes to all these things and then you're flaking because you're like, actually, I don't have the energy for this and like I don't want to do it. So you can feel inconsistent as a person. Overthinking, definitely. Like if we're not, when we're in flow and we feel really good and engaged, we're present in the moment. We're not constantly like, what did I do wrong? What do I need to do differently? What should I be planning? Because you're not outputting that energy in a healthy way. So it's just being used in the mental process instead, as well as feeling apprehensive. So that's like that anxiousness, that stressfulness piece, because the energy is building up in our body and we're not able to expel it. Deer in the headlights, another like we can be frozen and feel like, oh my God, I don't know what is my next move. I have nowhere to go. And perfectionism. That's also where we're trying to like make it work and force it to be exactly how it needs to be instead of letting the journey and the process unfold, or because for a lot of generators it's about the process. It's about what happens, what do you learn, what do you feel when you're doing this thing, as opposed to putting out like A plus plus work. So I like to use this as sort of like a teeter-totter, like a balance, a feedback. If I feel like I'm leaning too far into one, then I need to kind of have a little journal session or meditation or talk with myself. Why am I feeling frustrated about this? Why am I overthinking this? Why do I feel apprehensive to take that leap? Why do I feel stuck in my life right now? So ask yourself those questions so you can get to the root of why your body or your energy is not feeling in alignment. Or you can ask the reverse, how can I make this experience more satisfying for myself? What can I do to make this more exciting for myself? Like maybe you have to do your taxes and like I don't know anyone who's excited to do taxes. Shout out if you are excited to do taxes. But like, how can I make this experience more exciting for me? Well, I'm gonna play my favorite like audiobook or podcast or music. I'm going to put on a show. I'm going to get myself like my favorite drink from my favorite local cafe. That's gonna make me more excited to do this. I'm gonna ask someone else to come sit with me and talk to me while I'm doing it. Like think about those types of things. Yes, I see you went off of mute.
Have you heard about that new trend? Have you heard about the new trend where the Gen Zers are getting together to do like a night where they take all of the tasks where they don't want to do them and they create a party around it and help each other? What I forget what they're calling it, but it's so clever.
Yes, I think that's like an amazing like hack, right? Because we're adding more like joy and dopamine for generators. Dopamine and joy are we can interchange those. So it's like now they have other people here doing it, like their energy is motivating me to do it. So that's great. And also like I find sometimes like if you have the ability to do it, if you can offload the things that you just don't want to do, doing that. So if you're like with a group of people and you're like, I'm really good at this, like I love doing this, I'll do that thing for you. And then the other person might be like, I'm really good at this thing and I love doing this, like I'll do that. So like obviously like I live with my partner, so it's like ugh, I hate doing this task. Can you always be in charge of doing that task? Like, yeah, great, love it. Then I don't ever have to let my energy do that again.
Yeah. I feel like also, I just want to bump in here. I don't want to take the stage from you, but if you have, I just want to say from a neurodivergent standpoint, if you have PDA, like, this is like an excellent thing to do if you struggle with PDA, which I do struggle with PDA.
Yeah, yeah, these are great. Like, I think it's important to look at people like as a whole. So, like, we are talking just about like you being a generator, but there's so much in your chart. So, and who we are and what we have going on. Like, I think generators work very similarly to like ADHD neurodivergent because I've seen SpongeBob described as like just ADHD personified, and I also think he's just like the perfect example of a generator. Because with ADHD, our body's like, don't have energy for this, will not do it. Really excited about this, we'll spend 10 hours doing it. Like that's pretty much what a generator is designed to do. Okay, so tools, more tools. I was already giving tools. Using up your energy by doing things you enjoy. So if your life is maybe your job isn't fun, think about hobbies or outlets or ways to express your energy and your creativity that do feel good for you and try and prioritize making some time for those. Avoid engaging in activities that drain you. That's where those like parties, where we're like body doubling, or where we're swapping tasks, or asking someone else to come and help you with something, or if you have money, paying someone else to do it. And being mindful about that. Like if one friend always invites you to do this thing that you hate, like just invite them to do something else instead, or just let them know, like that's really draining for me. I don't have the energy for that. Going with the flow over forcing things is going to be really important. So if you find it's like roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, that's probably the universe trying to say like this is not in alignment with you in some way, shape, or form. How can we go with where we're being drawn instead of forcing what we want? Enjoying the process over getting too attached to the outcome. So, like I was saying, it's all about the process and where it takes you. A lot of generators are just here to be pulled where they're like your passion and your joy is sort of like this pull that pulls you throughout your life, left and right and all these directions and you're not sure what the outcome is. You're just going with the feeling of the energy and what energy you have and what you're excited for. So don't get too tied or attached to the outcome, which I know if you have like a lot of fixed signs can be really hard. But yeah, try and make space for check-ins. Try and make space for like analyzing and asserting how it's working. How can I track this and make sure I'm still excited? Um, Developing enjoyable outlets for your energy. If when I was like, what are your hobbies? You're like, I work and I go to sleep and I go to the gym and I eat and that's it. Like maybe trying to find more enjoyable things for you to do. And even if it's just like, oh, I really like walking around the block and that makes me happy, like jumping in the park. Like it doesn't have to be like something that's like, a $3,000 hobby. Recognizing when you feel physical, these are a lot of like other like pieces, feedback loops, so it's a long list, but recognize when you feel like physical exhaustion, not the like healthy exhaustion at the end of the day that we were talking about, but like consistently if you wake up and you're like, ugh, I don't want to do this, another day I have to like drag myself over and do this. That's kind of like your body's like, I don't want to do these things, so I'm cutting off my supply of energy. This is not what my energy wants to be used for. If you feel like there's lack of flow in your life, if you're making a lot of guttural noises or heavy sighs, that's an indication that you're not enjoying things. If you're like, oh, all right, time to do it. Like that, that's gonna be your indication, like your body doesn't want to do this. If you have a lot of body tension, like maybe you're feeling like anxious or stressed because you're not able to like express your energy in a positive way. Yes, you have something to add.
I was just gonna say that you want to know what I do, which is kind of funny. I go like I'm a cat.
Yes, I make a noise that's really similar to my grandpa, which is really funny. I'm like, like I do like that when I'm
Oh, that's
annoyed.
funny.
Yeah.
I'm a Virgo rising, and I always think about there's this like funny video of Kurt Cobain, who was also a Virgo rising, and he's at the MTV Awards, and you could just tell he does not want to be there. And Courtney's like trying to get him to like smile for the camera or whatever, and he just looks at the camera and he goes,
Yep.
I'm like, why do I do this? Virgo risings are cats, guys.
Yeah. The Virgo, I have Mars and Virgo too, so I'm just like immediate, like, no, I roll. Um, we'll talk about like why the sounds, it's tied to the sacral, which like all generators will have like either the sacral or solar plexus, and even if they have the solar plexus, they'll sometimes have the sacral. So it's literally our gut is like speaking. But we'll talk more about that. Body tension. If you're watching the clock, if you're like not engaged, right? You're not present in the moment. You're like, oh, when is this over? When can I be done? Like that's not what your energy wants to be doing. If you're trying to force like logic, like I should be doing this and like this should be working out, but it's not what you feel the flow of energy is going or your intuition is guiding you to. If you're turning towards addiction or overspending or thrill seeking or overeating or complaining a lot, like you're trying the addiction, the overspending, the thrill seeking, the overeating are ways that your body is trying to find an alternative outlet to like burn off that energy because you're not doing it in a fun way, in an aligned way in your life. So it's trying to like escape and find that joy, find that like burst of energy that you're the expelling of energy that you need. And then complaining, right? Like if we're not happy in our life and we're complaining, that's obviously an indication, I would say, for most people that we're not happy in our life. Okay, so what is your strategy? I did mention this a little bit earlier. It's to wait to respond. So like I said with the aura, you have to imagine yourself as a planet and then your orbit is the opportunities, things coming into your orbit. And this can be like a business opportunity, a job, an invitation to a party, a vacation, whatever, but it can also just be like if you're walking down the street and the information is coming towards you, like, do I like the way that that restaurant smells? Do I like the lighting in here? Do I like the texture of this fabric? Like everything, we're sort of boiling it down to this very black and white of like data inputting into our body, and then we decide how we want to respond to that. So you're supposed to wait to respond. So that means that you have to let the thing come into your orbit, come into your senses in some way, shape, or form. And then you have to listen to your inner authority, which we'll talk about next. And then when you get that yes or no feeling or response or knowing, then you respond and you say, yeah, I'd love to do that. Or no, I don't have the time for that or the energy for that. I'm not sure. I need more clarity. Can you provide me more like of an understanding of what this undertaking will be? Like sometimes our body might be like, I'm interested, but like what's the commitment? Like what do I get? What's the time and energy exchange? So that's how you're supposed to move through the world is by responding to things. Um, this is why generators love doing like Q&A type stuff. Like if you give me questions, that's I get to put that in my body and then get excited and respond. And this can also be a really great piece like if you're struggling to know if it's a yes or no, or like I even use this for like if I don't know what I want to eat for dinner. I have my partner ask me questions that I can respond to. So it literally can just be, do you want something sweet? Do you want something savory? Do you want pizza? Do you want hamburger? And it's not that any of those options will be the correct one, but it starts that motor system in your body, the response system, it gets it going and it gives you a greater sense. Usually he only has to ask me like a couple questions and then I'm like, not that, not that. Oh, now the idea is coming. The gears are turning. I'm like, that's what I want. So that can be like a great piece. And if you don't have another person to like ask the questions, you can just ask them to yourself out loud. Even if you're trying to make a decision, like, can I see myself doing this? Does this feel good to me? Am I excited about this? What about this is a no for me? What about this is a yes for me? Or same thing, do I want to eat something savory? Like giving yourself like that kind of, you could even like record yourself and then play it back so you can hear and have the invitation kind of there so then you can respond to it as well. So how do you know responding yes or no? First we have to talk about the design. I lied. Okay, so let's first talk about what is the components that come into your authority. So what makes a generator? It's a lot more simple than the projector one. If you watch the projector series that we started with, they have the most nuances in their design type. The generator, there's like two kinds of generators, and we're only covering one in this one because the other one is manifesting generator, and they're like a whole separate thing. So, a defined sacral. All generators have a defined sacral center, which is here. This is like our life force energy, sexuality, creativity. So this is why generators have a lot of energy because they all have a defined motor center. They all have a defined sacral and no connection from their throat to either of the other motor centers, which is the heart, the solar plexus, the root, and the sacral. If you have a defined throat and a connection, a channel connection between those, that makes you a manifesting generator. So that's why it's a no. And we're gonna go over those. So this is considered a pure generator. So this is what we're covering. Pure generators are just not manifesting generators. Um, so pure generators have exactly what I just talked about. That's the only thing is they have a defined sacral and they don't have anything connecting their throat to another motor center. We can see like this channel here is from the spleen to the sacral. That's perfectly fine. The spleen is not a motor center. So that's great. They do have a defined throat. It's okay to have a defined throat. It's just not connected. It doesn't have a channel that's fully connected to any of the motor centers here. Um, so the other type of generator is the manifesting generator, which we're going to do a whole separate thing on because they're different. I would say like 70 to 80% different than generators, pure generators. So manifesting generators do have this. So they have the defined sacral, but they also have a defined throat that's connected to one or more of the motor centers. So this person has this channel here from the throat connecting to the sacral. So that makes them a manifesting generator. Um, so you could have the throat connected to the solar plexus, to the heart, or to the root. Any of those work. And yeah, we'll cover them on their own. Okay. So, things to remember for the types of generators, the channels that you have in your body, so those connecting lines that I was showing in the previous slide, so like this from number 20, to number 34 is one channel. So the channels that you have will greatly change your flow of energy and your sensitivity level. So I know I'm like, generators have all this energy and they can just do all the things and they're a worker bee. Like, you might be like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm a generator, but I'm so sensitive and I don't have all this energy. It might be a certain channel that you have. Your profile will influence how you operate. So the profile lines, like if you're a 3-5, a 1-4, a 2-5, there's a mix of two numbers from 1 to 6. That's gonna define how you think and how you move through the world. So you might be like more like, throw me in there, coach. I want to be hands-on. Or you might be like, no, I want to research and I want to do all these things. Like your process might just look different as a generator based on that. Generators will go through cycles of interest and will ultimately shift multiple times throughout their lifetime. So a lot of people like blame themselves for these things, but this is just how we're designed to work. Like you might be, I have like clients that are like, I worked in HR and then I realized I was super burnt out and I went back to school and I now work in the wine industry or something. Like, and people feel like because we're raised to like go to college at 18, pick the thing that we want to do that for the rest of our life. Like that's not how generators are built to work. Like some people may be sure they know like I love this and I just want to spend my entire lifetime mastering this thing. But because life is supposed to be an unfolding journey and process that's infused with flow and excitement, you might learn all the things that you needed to learn and then you're like, this no longer excites me and I'm ready for a new endeavor. I want to take on a new challenge. Or you might have multiple interests. Chances are, if you have a lot of interest, you'll probably be manifesting generator. But a lot of things, like say, like generators are built to do one thing at a time, and people will be like, "Well, I'm a generator, but I like to do this, and I like to do that, and I like to do that," and that's okay. Usually, you'll focus on one at a time. You'll either carve out the time and space to focus on one at a time, or you'll do this thing where you work on it and then you're done, and then you work on something else and then you're done. So it's okay if you just wake up and you're like, suddenly, I have no interest in this anymore. That's just your body telling you where your energy is excited and where it isn't. Um, Generators are meant to focus on one mastery at a time. It can be really hard to juggle and do a lot of things if you're not really regimented as a generator. Again, depends on your channels. But you are meant to master this piece, which is why you have all this energy to like get in there in the nitty gritty, right? Like the best paintings are the ones that you spend the most time just adding detail and detail and detail, and that's how it becomes like this beautiful masterpiece. So it's okay to give yourself that time to like zoom in and like really enjoy and discover what your zone of genius is, how you want to master this skill, right? And mastery can also just be, I spent time in here testing this hypothesis, doing this thing over and over and over, and I found these are the best ways to do it. These are the tips that I have for you. This is what generators bring to the world. They're sharing us like through my consistent effort and action, this is what I know. Like in the olden times, these would be like the blacksmiths or like the artisan type people that they spend a whole lifetime mastering, or maybe you're like a monk and you spend a whole lifetime mastering that, or like a samurai or something where you're just really getting to like deepen into one thing. And I feel that our modern world sometimes doesn't give us that. So be gentle on yourself if you're like, I want to be a blacksmith, but I don't have a forge. It's okay. You'll find ways to get there. Um, and just know it's all connected. This one piece, it's like this is as if I was talking only about like your sun sign, right? There's many components that add up to your whole chart. Okay, so now let's talk about your authority. How do I respond? How do I know your brother is a blacksmith? Whoa, not me being psychic and picking that up. I was like, where's this blacksmith coming from? I just kept seeing like working on a black, like working on something over and over. I think that that's cool. I've done metalwork, and carpentry stuff, but not smithing. Like more like welding. Um, ooh, a witch and a blacksmith? Yes. Let's put our little sigils into the metalwork. I love that. Okay, so the how do I know what to respond? That's what he does. I love it here. Okay, so if you get the opportunity, then you listen to your inner authority. For generators, there are only two types of inner authority. So first we'll cover sacral. So sacral authority means you have defined sacral, no defined solar plexus. And the sacral is the easiest, fastest, loudest, quickest of the inner knowings, of the intuitions, of the responses that you'll feel. So a lot of the time when people are talking about you'll get a full body yes or no if it's for you, these are sacral generators talking specifically to other sacral generators. The other design types don't have it this easy. So the sacral, you'll literally get that gut feeling like, yep, I'm into it. Nope, I'm not into it immediately. And really, what your sacral is telling you is if you have the energy for it or not. The sacral is not telling you this will be a great idea. You're going to make a bajillion dollars out of it. Go do it. The sacral is saying, ooh, I have energy for this. I'm excited. I want to expend energy on this. That's all it's telling you. It's not saying it's going to be successful. It just means I want to do this, right? And that's why it's important to allow yourself to go with the journey, go with the flow, and know that your life is unfolding just by following that. And it's not a mistake if you failed or if it didn't pan out. It's just that you wanted to go on that journey and you had a lot of energy for that and it was something you were passionate about. That's what leads to mastery, right? Mastery is not being perfect. Mastery is making mistakes and learning and adjusting. Those are the people that we want to learn, that will learn the most from, are the ones that actually failed their way to the top, that made all the mistakes, and now they know what to do and what not to do. So just know that it is literally like a full body yes or no. You will know immediately if you have the energy, if you don't. Now, sacral has amazing ways of letting us know. We talked about the guttural noises. Literally, people who have sacral authority, when I'm talking to them, they're like, oh, or they're like, oh, no. Like your body literally makes all those noises. That's coming straight from your sacral. Your sacral's like, ooh, like I'm excited about this. Like that's that part of your body that's telling you the yes or no. Oftentimes, the sacral can be kind of intense for other people because you might like wear all your emotions on your face, be like, oh, I hate that. And it's like, damn, I just asked if you wanted some cucumber, Like it's not like it's the plague or something. But that's your sacral being like, absolutely no, hard no, don't put that in me. So you'll get those yes or no senses very quickly, very easily. Now, if you're not getting these, this can indicate that maybe there's other stories, other beliefs, other logical pieces that you've layered on top of yourself to distrust your inner knowing, right? Maybe we've had trauma, or abuse, or conditioning. Maybe we've created a belief that every time we follow this sense, it doesn't pan out correctly or it's a mistake and we can't trust ourselves and our inner knowing for whatever reason. So the work then for you would be to undo, to uncover what they call in human design like deconditioning. So then you say like, oh, if I know I'm meant to have this simple, easy yes or no answer, and I'm not feeling connected to that, like how can I connect deeper to my body? What are the things that are obstacles in the way for me to connect to my body and how can I heal or alchemize or decondition them? And the more you do it, the easier it will be. They say our intuition is like a muscle, so use it or lose it type of mentality in science. That's like a science term. Use if you Google use it or lose it. I know it doesn't sound like one, but yeah, so the more you listen to your intuition, the more you make space for it, the more you try and acknowledge it, the stronger, the louder, the easier it will be. The more you tell it, shh, be quiet, no, you're wrong, don't trust yourself, I don't believe you, then the quieter it's going to become in our body. So this can be like really healing for people. Sometimes we might need to do like a detox, like we're just our life is full of things that we don't want to do. So our body's just like and doesn't have energy for anything. Maybe you never get a yes because you're like, I have to give all my energy to my job and I now I have none left. So try and think about, like, I think this is where deconditioning becomes what kind of life do you want to build? Do you want to have the life where you get to have the high paying job and you're exhausted and you don't want to do anything with your free time? Or do you want to have the life where you have energy, but maybe you don't make as much money? I think capitalism makes us, create all of these imperfect lifestyles instead of creating space for all of us to do what we love. So I understand that. The other type of authority is the solar plexus, or also referred to as emotional authority. You might see it on some like websites and sources. This is the authority I have as a manifesting generator, works the same. So this means we have the defined solar plexus. We could also still have a defined sacral and defined solar plexus because all generators have the defined sacral, but what makes it is the defined solar plexus. And this means that the solar plexus is emotions, feeling, nervous system, nervousness. So it's not as like, yes, no, I know exactly what I want and what I don't want. This means we're meant to experience and move through the world in our emotions by experiencing life through waves of emotions. For a lot of people, this can feel like their feelings are too big, they're too intense, they're crazy. Because other people who don't have emotional authority will be like, no, I don't feel that way. What are you talking about? I don't have that strong of a response as you. But that's okay. This is how you're meant. You're like my zone is emotions. Like I can surf the wave of emotions and I'm not scared by it because that's how I experience most things in my life. That's how I make the decisions in my life is based on how I feel emotionally towards them. So if you have the emotional solar plexus, you need to wait for the emotional wave to leave to have your clarity, to have your decision. What is my response? I have to wait for the emotions to move through my body, be gone out of my body, and then I will have my response afterwards. So if you don't listen to your emotions, you disassociate from your emotions, you're afraid of your emotions, you have negative like stories around certain emotions and experiencing them, this can be very hard for you to make this decision. So it's really important for emotional authority people to befriend your emotions, get to know them, know what all you have going on that you're holding inside of your body at any given time. You know, I like to tell people for human design, oh yeah, you want to say something?
I was just going to say, I am an emotional generator. I tell myself all the time, emotions are information, it's knowledge.
Yes. Yes, that's literally what I was just gonna say. Is like, I tell people if you have like negative stories around emotions, you have to just think about like the emotion is a train coming into the subway station. It just needs to deliver the passengers so it can move on to the next one. And if you don't let it deliver the passengers, it can't move on. It will actually stay in your body. And in extreme cases for emotional authority people, it will jump into other humans that have undefined solar plexuses, plexi. I don't know. Um, and it will force you to experience the emotion externally through like an argument or a confrontation. But we have to,
100%. That's so wild that you said that.
it's extreme cases. I feel most people are kind of aware, but I feel like the people that choose to not feel their emotions have this. They're like, why did this woman just come out of nowhere and say all these things to me? Like, what the heck? And it's like, well, because you need to deal with your emotions and you're not.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So,
come from a family where I'm the emotional generator in my family, and we are a non-emotional family, I will say that.
mm,
And so learning to regulate my emotions, learning to feel my emotions was not something innately taught to me.
yeah.
And so, learning this, not only, first of all, is this like amazing in terms of self-acceptance and learning to like, that emotions are bad or things that we have to like,
Mhm.
and then as you become more comfortable with that, which I think is so funny, love, which is that like you start to laugh about it more because you realize how emotionally immature they're like little
Yes.
babies. They're like little
Yeah.
babies. You're not the baby. They will make you
No.
feel, I'm telling you at home, if you have emotional authority, they are going to make you feel like you are the baby. They are the baby.
Yes.
And part two, as you said before, you got to feel those emotions because as people who work in the health space, when we don't deal with the emotions, and there's studies that are like scientifically coming out now that are showing this is how we get fibromyalgia, this is how we get lupus.
Yes.
Women at an alarming rate are coming down with chronic illnesses, POTS, things like
Mhm.
immune disorders because we are not feeling our feelings and we're suppressing our anger.
Yeah.
Anger is information, guys.
Yes, that's all it is. It's just energy, like the emotions, like it's energy in motion. It's just delivering a message. It's just a feeling. And they have this statistic that I read that like if we feel our feelings, they only last for like 90 seconds. So I know a lot of us can feel like, oh my God, if I open up this pit, it's gonna be like a tsunami. And it's like we need to like feel the feeling and let it leave. Not re-experience the feeling, but we need to feel it and let it give us the information that we need. Because the feelings, like if we have anger, like that's usually a boundary has been crossed that we didn't know needed to be
Mhm.
there, you know, and that's all it is. Not like, oh, I hate that I'm angry and I'm bad for being angry. It's like, nope, that's giving me the information. I just need to set a stronger boundary because that frustrated me. Yeah.
I
There's
love
something,
this. Thank you so much.
yeah. So yeah, you need to wait for the emotional wave to wash over you and leave to have the clarity. Now, what that looks like, it could be a couple of minutes, a couple of hours. I find it's either a couple of hours or just sleeping on it and the next day you feel better or you'll get your answer. Sometimes you can check in if it's a big decision and you're trying to know how do I want to respond to this. Check in over the period of a few days or longer if you're not sure and see how you're consistently feeling about it. Do I still feel excited? Do I still feel excited? Yep, okay, great. If I let the emotional wave pass and I'm not excited about it anymore, then like that's my answer because these people, so if you're an emotional authority, you will experience, you're sort of like an emotional temperature gauge of any environment that you're in. So if you're in like a really excitable environment, you'll probably get swept up in the energy of that emotion. And a lot of people have emotional authority will sign on for things that they don't want to do or buy things that they don't actually need just because they're excited. They're like, oh my God, everybody wants to take the trip. Here, let me put my deposit. I'm gonna Venmo you $1,000 for the like group trip. And then you get home and you're like, why did I say that I would do this group trip? I don't want to do it. I'm not excited about this at all. This isn't something that I normally do. And it's because you were really excited and you were feeling the emotions of everybody else and you just went with that. So we need to wait for those emotions to leave and then be like, okay, now that the excitement's gone, like, do I still want to do this? Am I still excited for it? So I like to tell people who have emotional authority, get really comfortable with the phrases, can I sleep on it and get back to you? Can I check in and, you know, can I look at my schedule? Can I get back to you in a couple hours? Or you can even be the queen of tentative plans. I can't, I'm not sure if I'll be able to make your birthday party. Can I let you know when it's closer to the date? Because a lot of the time for the emotional authority, it's hard to like know how you're going to feel like 6 months from now. Like that's hard to project that. So giving tentative plans if you can. And if it is like a long-term thing, like a vacation or something that like you have to plan it now and put the money down now, a hack that I found is to like consistently hype yourself up leading to that event or that thing. And this is great if it's something you're like, maybe it's a job interview and you're scared, or you have to go home and visit your family and you're like, oh no, like hype yourself up emotionally so that you're sort of like, oh yeah, like this is the thing that I'm looking forward to when I get there. You have that kind of like excitement for it. So like start thinking about the fun things. You know, like this is why a lot of people like plan out their outfits when they have a vacation because it's like that's the part that's exciting that keeps them like hyped. It's like, oh, like I'm gonna wear this thing, I'm gonna wear that thing, and I'm gonna look so cool. And yeah, so
I
you want to
think
see.
one other thing, and I tell this to my neurodivergent clients all the time, is like, don't be afraid to ask for accommodations. So if it's
Yes.
like a trip, for example, if you have to go on a trip, that might look like alone time, getting your own room, or, that might look like, having a conversation that says, hey, I'm really excited to come visit you guys, but, I might need a little bit of downtime. So, if I'm not feeling something that day, can there be a little bit of flexibility, that I can just take a nap,
Yes.
don't be afraid to ask for accommodations.
Yes, that's a really big one because that's part of like what we were saying before with like asking like what would make this a yes? What do I need? Do I need more information? And maybe yeah, you're like staying in my family home is a no, but I'll stay in the hotel so that I can go, sleep at the hotel away from all that energy and have my recuperation time. On the flip side, you being an emotional temperature gauge, if you're around really sad, really mopey people, or even like listening to music or watching TV or consuming any kind of media, you will feel the emotions of whatever it is that you're around. So I had to learn this like when I was healing and detoxing from the traumatic like environment of my childhood, my nervous system only knew chaos, only knew uncertainty, only knew like shock and awe. So I was like really into horror movies and I would listen to true crime podcasts on 24/7, just consuming all of that because my nervous system was like, yeah, this is the state that I know how to exist in. And as I started doing healing and prioritizing like rest and relaxation and safety and like clear communication and all these things, like it was harder for me to like listen to all of that stuff because I noticed I was getting like emotionally heightened from it. So be really discerning about what you want to input in your body emotionally if you're an emotional authority. So if you had a stressful day at work, put on your comfort show, put on Gilmore Girls, just zone out, just be in the I know what to anticipate. This feels safe for me. I love it. If you don't want to cry right now, you don't want to watch a really emotional movie, then don't watch that. Like my partner always wants to watch like what was the one that I did Andor, which is like the Star Wars but they're like in a jail prison. It's so stressful. I was like I don't want to watch this today. Like real life is looking really like that. So I don't want to experience that. So yeah, it can be really hard to be around like Debbie Downer type people if you're an emotional authority. And it can be really hard to have empathy for them. So needing to be clear on your boundaries and if you have the energy to show up for them, then that's okay. But yeah, wait for that emotional wave to move through you and then you'll have your answer. Um, then yes, we talked about getting swept up in the energy of the moment and then your emotions feeling intense. That was something that I also wanted to talk about too. Like I know you said you were that person in your family. I was also, I mean, my mom is dramatic, but like I was the scapegoated one, but that's what happens when you're a five line and I'm a five line as well, and so are you. Um, yeah, like people would be like, "Oh, you're throwing a temper tantrum. Oh, you're upset. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. Like, why are you always crying?" And it's like I'm feeling my emotions in the moment. And if you have neurodivergence, especially ADHD, which I have in spades, it's hard to regulate our emotions in the moment. So it can be really hard to hold in what you need to say. It can be hard to hold in your emotions. So especially if you're an emotional authority and you have this, it can feel like you're too much and people will tell you that, but it's
My
really like
sister
there.
always says that I'm too much, that my emotions are too big. And
Yes.
I had to like really learn that if she desired less, then she should go find less.
Yes. What it is them saying, I don't know how to deal with these big emotions. I don't know how to hold space
Isn't
and
it
that
so
triggers me.
frustrating? Because you could like, I mean, you and I, we would read a book, we would listen to a podcast, we would look it up. But these people are so emotionally immature that they
Mhm.
don't even, maybe it's either that they don't know to do that, they don't think to do that, or they just simply don't care.
Yeah. And it's normalized in our society, right? Like parents are like, I'll give you something to cry about. Like there's this
Yeah.
inherent uncomfortability with being holding space and being in uncomfortable emotions. And so they just try and find any way to get rid of it as much as possible. And that creates so much harm and trauma, as
Yeah.
opposed to just being like, let's sit in this. Like it's important. Like you have a big feeling. Like what's going on?
Absolutely. I think I find something that's helped me quite a bit that I might have as like an additional resource tool here. If you're an emotional generator, there's a great Instagram called Nurtured First. And essentially, it is a gentle parenting account. But I find all of these accounts that, you know, kind of teach not just specifically gentle parenting, but just like any sort of parenting where we're dealing with big emotion. Well, I shouldn't even say dealing with big emotions. We are learning to operate big emotions. I think have been really helpful. I don't have children of my own. I might not ever have children of my own, but I am constantly in dialogue. We all are
Mhm.
constantly in dialogue, whether we think we're mature or not. We are, the truth is, every single human on this earth is in constant dialogue with their inner child. So
Mhm.
to really understand these tools that we can apply to our lives has been really helpful, even if they are designed for children. But Nurtured First is so interesting to me because it'll start with like a scenario that everybody will like be able to understand, like something like my child started to have a temper tantrum when it was bedtime, you know,
Mm.
and it'll break things down from like a psychological standpoint, what the parent did that worked, what the parent maybe did that didn't work, and why, and like really go into the impact of like how that child will use that tool 20 years into the future.
Yeah.
It's an amazing account. Go look it up. Nurtured First. That woman is, she's doing the Lord's work.
Amazing. Okay. So you either listen to each of these authorities and then you respond. So you say, great, I'm feeling excited about this. I want to do it. I'm in. Or you get the sacral and you're like getting the instant yes or the really quick yes, and then you respond. That's how we're meant to work as generators. So let's talk about like conditioning that I was talking about, deconditioning, right? So a condition generator will look like someone who seeks validation and outside expertise for their decision making, right? Because our inner authority is how we make our decisions. It's our also a big piece of our intuition. So if I'm listening to my sacral and I get the yes or no, or if I'm letting the emotion pass and then I get my yes or no, or whatever my response is, I shouldn't need someone else to tell me what to do or what's the best decision. Because again, with generators, we're not trying to logic everything. We're trying to listen to what we're excited for and what our energy feels like it wants to do. Um, it Another condition piece doesn't understand the value of their time and energy. This is important, right? Because we might be draining our energy, over giving, over committing, and we're exhausted and we're burnt out. And a lot of upbringings don't teach us about how to feel autonomous over our own time and energy. And a lot of jobs don't value our actual true time and energy, and they seek to like cut corners and take more and more of our time and energy. A condition generator will be tired and drained by what they're doing. So again, if you're not excited, you don't want to do it, you're like, oh, it's like dragging yourself through, gritting your teeth, like that's not for you. You're not meant to live that way. Engaging in numbing behaviors. So if your regular life is not enjoyable, then you're going to try and numb out and forget and kind of like disassociate. Giving into the shoulds, that's a big one that I'm still calibrating. Oh, I should be doing this. Oh, I should do that. Like if you signed on for something, especially for the emotional generators, if you signed on for something and you don't want to do it anymore, and you're like, but I already signed on and I feel guilty and I don't want to say no and I don't want to like tell them I'm not into it anymore. Like all these shows are like, oh, I should be routine and regimented and wake up at 6 a.m. and do all these things, but like I can't get myself to do it. My body just won't wake up. Like these are shoulds. I often tell a lot of my therapy clients, like make your should list, just all the shoulds that you tell yourself. And look at like who told me that? Was it my mom? Was it society? Was it my teacher? Or was it me? Did it come from inside of me? And then do I want to subscribe to it or not? Okay, why am I telling myself I should be like this if it doesn't feel good in my body? Then I need to pick something else or I just need to let it go. If you consistently have low energy and you're lethargic, that's again a feedback loop that you're not allowing yourself to express through outlets of joy and passion your energy. If you're people pleasing and overextending just because you can, right? Generators have so much energy. So it can be really easy to be like, yeah, sure, I can do it. Like, oh, I have that skill. I could do it. I've done this before. Like, I have, formal training in graphic design. I love creating and making graphic design. So I'll just be like, oh, I can make your logo for you. Oh, I can help you with this thing because I know that I have like a lot of energy to output, but then I don't do it. And I've procrastinated doing it for like a month because I'm like, I actually don't want to do this. Why did I sign on for this? You can be frustrated by your progress, feeling like I'm not making progress fast enough, I'm not liking where I'm going in life, I'm not getting to the thing that I'm trying to create, like how we said it's more about the journey and less about the outcome. Or you can feel frustrated by your work and your projects. I feel like a lot of people probably feel this if they just have like a regular 9 to 5 job. And then constantly trying to fix or force things to work. That was me a couple years ago. That's where I was. I would just be like, why isn't this working? Like, this is what I want to happen. And then it's like, well, that's not what your body wants. That's not what your energy is excited to do. That's not where your life is calling you and pulling you towards. What are marks of an aligned generator? You feel in tune with your authority and your body. You can listen to the sacral response and honor it. You can give yourself time to feel the emotions and honor them. You value what you enjoy, so you make space and time for the things that you enjoy and you put a lot of importance on them. You have a rhythmic and flowing kind of like energy in your life. You're listening. Like some people are like rhythmic, like very seasonal. Like I like to do this activity in this season. I have this much energy. We can see that in our astrology chart. Like, are you a nighttime or daytime person? Are your lower six houses in like the spring, summer, or are they in a different season? Like honoring the rhythm and the flow of what your energy feels it wants to do. And I had this really cool business coach that was saying like to track your energy rhythms daily, weekly, and monthly, and then looking at it yearly. So during the day, do I have more energy in the morning? Do I have it in the middle of the day? Do I have it in the nighttime? Oh, there's somebody here. I don't know. It says Timmy. Hello, hi. Um, so do I have that energy in the day and the week? Am I more productive I tend to output more on Monday and Tuesday, and then by the time Thursday comes around, I peter off. And then monthly. Hello, hi. Hello? Okay,
Hello
sorry.
and welcome.
So yeah, definitely like listening to those rhythms. You love the process. So you're like, I enjoy the process. I give myself enough time and space. I'm not feeling like I need to get it perfect. I don't have time for this. I need to move on. Like loving the process, deep trust in the universe, knowing that like where you're being called and what you're feeling passionate about will guide you to where you need to go, willing to wait to respond instead of pushing. That's a big thing. Like it might feel like a yes, but maybe the time isn't right. Maybe you feel like you'll be able to do it later in the year. Again, especially important for the emotional authority people, waiting for the emotion to move through you and then responding. Having strong boundaries specifically around your energy use. Where am I, that's the opposite of the overextending and people pleasing piece. Expressing your desires and your yes no responses confidently, right? Being able to say like that's a no for me and I'm sorry, I just don't have the energy for that, my body just doesn't want to do that. And being able to say like, but what I do want to do is this. Again, I know with capitalism there's sometimes not as much space, but trying to do this as much as possible. Being unapologetic in your joys and your dislikes, especially for the sacral people, you're gonna be like, no, I don't want this. Like you have to be comfortable with doing that. And for the emotional authorities, you might be like, oh, I'm so excited about that, like big emotions and being okay my partner loves when I do that. Like, this is a very niche example, but I like to play a shooter video game called Borderlands, and they have like their algorithm has like thousands of millions of guns that are all unique. And when I get like a new gun that's like really fun and I want to try it out, I'll be like, ooh. And he's always like, oh, there it is. We know there's a new one coming. Like my body literally just gets excited about it. Um, and then understanding and accepting your steady incremental pace. Like I said, generators tend to focus on one thing and take the time to master it. It might be like 10, 20 years and then they're ready to move on. So don't feel like you're rushing yourself. This is part of enjoying the process. Like I learned something, I moved forward in some kind of way, and I feel good about that. I'm not tied to like getting to the goal immediately. I know that the journey is important. So these are like ways to tell like, am I aligned? Am I not aligned? You likely will have some from each column. And then you can work on the ones that you feel you need to decondition, and try and replace them with the aligned ones. Like I'm working on the value of time and energy and the people pleasing and overextending, and the shoulds. That's what I'm working on this year. I've worked on the trying to fix and force things, being frustrated by my work and my process, seeking validation. I've worked on those ones. So just give yourself some grace. I know a lot of our life is very conditioned. It's not bad if you're starting at like 45 and you're learning this. Like I have a client that was like at her late 40s, 50s, and we started doing deconditioning. It's okay. Okay. So pop culture references. Um, the quintessential generator I'm going to say is SpongeBob. He's like the perfect example, right? He loves his work. He loves making Krabby Patties. He loves serving customers. He literally, in all those like videos, he like puts hopefully you all have seen SpongeBob, but when he assembles the Krabby Patty, he puts like a pickle like in each spot. He draws a little happy face with the ketchup. He tucks it in with like the cheese blanket. Like he loves his process. He feels creative. He's able to make like thousands of Krabby Patties on the fly. He has so much energy. He's always ready to help his friends and his family and to go on adventures. He's like pure joy embodied, and he loves to do those things. And then like the things that he doesn't want to do, like when he does like the normie one and he's like, "Hi, how are you? I have to fit in. I have to be exactly how you want me to be." Like he forgets his name when he does that because it's just like not who he is. So he's such a great example of like following your joy, honoring what you want to do, being able to do it just in your own unique way and mastering that. He makes the perfect burger. He masters that. Um, Luke Skywalker is also a great generator. I put him there intentionally because I feel like I said earlier, a lot of generators are like, man, I'm not special. Most of the population are generators. Luke Skywalker is special. He's a generator. Don't worry. He freaking saves the universe. Okay, so I'm getting so excited. I'm like gasping for air. So Luke Skywalker, he has to listen to his instincts, right? Like he has to learn how to be in tune with the universe. He has the force, right? That's sort of like that energy that he's able to tap into that generators have. And he's able to go with the flow and listen to the flow of the universe. That's what the force is being able to move energy by being in tune with the flow of the universe. And that's sort of like the flow that we're supposed to have as generators, is to listen where you're being called to. And even how he gets called into fight and be part of the resistance is he's kind of like listening to he hears about he wants to enlist in the military because his friends are, and then they die, and then he hears about Obi-Wan and he goes and he seeks him out. Like he's responding to external stimuli. He gets kind of like called into it because his community is called into it. He responds to like what they're going through, and then he keeps going on the process. And he's able to like continue on. Like he literally gets his hand cut off and falls down the chute, and then he still is able to like get up and continue on. Um, and then we have Frogger. I feel like the way that you play the game Frogger is very generator, right? Because Frogger, it has all these moving layers of like logs and cars, and you have to get from one side to the other safely with the frog. And sometimes you have to wait, right? Sometimes you have to wait a whole cycle for the entire screen to move through until you get back to that one spot. And so you can be in the rhythm and move through the pieces easily. Sometimes you got to just go through it and just, trust your instincts. So I feel like Frogger is sort of like this like generator game of like listening to the internal knowing of when to go and when not to go, making the decision when to go, not to go when it feels right for you, and calibrating, right? Because a master at Frogger, which generators are supposed to find their mastery, will probably memorize the order of the rhythm of the game, and they'll be like doo, 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 and they'll be able to move through it. And that's kind of what we're doing as generators. And then I really liked using Dorothy as a generator because she lets like her purpose unfolds as she follows along on her journey and responds to the external stimuli, because she's like in her home and then she just ends up in this new world that she knows nothing about, and she just starts like talking to the environment, like who are these munchkins, who are the scarecrow, the lion, they all just come up. They come into her orbit because she has this open, welcoming aura, just like generators do. Like she's kind and polite, and she allows, oh, Mr. Lion, like let me help you too. Yes, you wanted to say something.
Oh, I wasn't waiting for you to finish. I was just going to say it's funny because when I saw this, I totally lit up. Every zine that I have ever made has a reference to The Wizard of Oz, and I've always
Hmm.
identified as a Dorothy, and I just feel like it's such a neurodivergent experience. But yeah, 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 this one really resonated for me, so thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, like she literally follows a path that unfolds like the yellow brick road. Like she literally follows that to get to like her end goal, her purpose, and she attracts like all the key players along the way. Like
Mhm.
she's calling everyone to help her get to where she needs to go. She asks for help when she has like roadblocks. Instead of trying to make it work, she goes where she's like kind of intuitively called, I guess you could say.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So I'm very into Joseph Campbell, obviously, duh. And I would imagine you are too, the Aries moon that you are. So like obviously they say that The Wizard of Oz is kind of the quintessential hero's journey. Would
Mhm.
you say that like generators are the hero's journey and maybe projectors are, like the wit, like not that they're
Mhm.
witches, but like,
Yeah.
like they are the wizard or they are.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely say that. Like I do see projectors as like the wise wizard that guides because they're here to guide manifestors and generators on their path. I would say the reflectors are like the oracle that maybe you trek to
Hmm.
go and visit or like the prophecy person. And then yeah, I would definitely say the generators are kind of like the main character kind of because they have to like follow and let the journey unfold. They have to master their talents. They build something, they create something, they have the energy to like see things through and complete them. So it is very like journey, the hero's journey for sure, I would say. I mean, two of the characters that I picked are very hero's journey for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Luke Skywalker is also the quintessential
Hmm.
hero's journey. I mean, it could be said that SpongeBob is
Yeah,
another hero's journey.
for sure. He has like a bunch of movies where he's like the hero.
I
So I,
love
I
this.
definitely feel like they're the kind of, and especially with that open and enveloping aura, they're like gonna be like bringing people in and doing the work at, like calling people together that they need to complete the task. So yeah,
Now I'm
that
thinking
totally
about all
tracks.
these movies and I'm like, oh my God, Tommy Pickles is totally a generator and Angelica is totally a projector. Okay, that's my thought for tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I could also see Angelica as a manifester, because she also
Oh
has like
yeah.
ideas, and then manifestors actually have repelling auras.
Yeah,
So yeah, I could see that because people get rubbed the wrong way by her.
I love it. Okay, continue.
Yes. So famous generators, I realize they're all men, but the women that were coming up, I was like, it was like Oprah. I was like, I don't know. I wanted to pick like different kind of like realms. Like we have science, acting, creating art and things like that. And I tried to find also with the different profile lines because a lot of them were 2 4s, interestingly enough. So Albert Einstein, albeit not super ethically amazing either, but he's a 1 4 emotional generator. He has like really interesting channels and he has 3 channels in his chart that I was like reading up on. But he's a famous generator, right? Like what is his mastery? He literally changed the face of science for the entire world. He went into these deep dives and that's what the one line is the deep diver, and he mastered these things. He made hypotheses, but he also like warned us about a lot of things, and he also like had a read on like the emotional health, and he also made emotional mistakes, like he cheated on his wife and like all these things, so like he's not flawless. But yeah, definitely a generator, a large output of work, a large body of work that he contributed to society by following his own like people reach out to him and he was like, no, I don't want to do that. Yes, I want to do that. Like he really followed his inner authority and he listened to what he was excited about and he just pursued those things to the point where he won like the Nobel Peace Prize or the Nobel Prize. Um, I digress. I also think Robin Williams is a great example of like the conditioned generator, right? I obviously don't literally know anything about his personal life, so I can't speak as if I know these things, but we do know that he suffered with a lot of sadness, anxiety, depression, and he ended up eventually trigger warning, taking his life. But yeah, so I think for him, he was stuck in the sad pieces. He wasn't able to process those emotions because he is an emotional generator. He's a 2 line, so he was naturally gifted at comedy, at calling people in and making people feel seen, bringing joy into people's lives. He literally created the joy for that he wanted to experience. That was his passion. And he had the emotional piece as well. So he probably was like stuck in some emotional loop or emotional wave that he wasn't able to move past. So yeah, he's a great example of a generator. Also very prolific, like doing voiceovers, doing comedy specials, doing acting, having a wide range of things that he was really good at. And he also is quoted often as a five line. Five lines are able to like see karma, see patterns, and their voice is really important because they have like ideas for how to make the world better. And he was very, very quoted around a lot of his expertise and even around like mental health and things of that nature.
I'm a five.
Um,
I was just gonna say I'm a 5-1 generator. I think Nelson Mandela and Frank are also 5-1 generators.
Okay, I think we had Nelson Mandela in the projector one,
Oh, maybe not then. Okay,
but
maybe I'm
maybe he's
wrong.
a 5-1.
You
Yeah,
never know because I read these things online like 10 years ago,
I
and
know.
who
I
knows?
try really, I'm like, I need the exact birth time before I put this up on there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have Walt Disney, a sacral generator, right? So he obviously like created a lot, was very prolific, had a strong vision. He also is a two line, so he was naturally gifted at animation and storytelling and creating Disneyland. His vision was very strong, and that sacral, he probably knew exactly what he wanted to do and exactly what he didn't want to do. And we still have that, like people like talk about like he had this long-term vision for Disneyland and what it would turn into and what it was important to uphold. Like he knew the yeses and the nos really easily. And also I think like a lot of the two, like I was saying, the four lines are the connector people, the community people. So it makes sense that like he leveraged his community and his connections to keep growing and get bigger and bigger. And then we have Andy Warhol. I couldn't find what if he was a sacral or emotional one. That's why I just put peer generator because that's what people were referring to him as. But he was like one of the few that wasn't a two line. So I was trying to find some examples. But Andy Warhol is a very famous artist. He had a very unique vision. He brought a lot of change to the art world in the pop art lens. He was known for being eccentric and different and weird. And he listened to that, right? He created what felt important to him. He created art that spoke from within him and not whatever, someone else wanted him to make. As a 1-3, he's also like half experimenting, half researching. So I could definitely see that in his work. He did a lot of experimentation with different modalities and things that are highly copied and very visually like stimulating. But yeah, he's considered a generator as well. I'm sure there's most of the population is generators, so I'm sure there's like a lot of examples. Obviously you're a generator, I'm a manifesting generator, so I won't be able to say that until we do the manifesting generator one. Um, and then some tips that I would recommend. Generators can get swept into people, projects, ideas, situations that are unaligned and stay out of a sense of duty, guilt, or capitalism. So definitely try and take stock. Like if you don't do it like quarterly or biannually or yearly, whatever you find your rhythm or your maybe you want to do it monthly. Like, what are the things that are lighting me up? Are there things that I need to start peeling back on? Do I need to use my response and let these people know, like, I'm maybe going to be done with this soon, or maybe I don't want to do this anymore. It's not lighting me up. You'll lose energy when you do things that you hate or don't want to do. So this is where simple daily tasks can just drain you. And you're like, how is it that like folding the laundry wiped me out completely? But yesterday I spent 6 hours programming this app. Like, it's because that's what your energy was excited to do. And so we can hack this system. A lot of productivity experts will say if you have a to-do list, pick the thing that's the hardest first and do that and get it out of the way. I recommend the exact opposite for generators. Pick the thing that you're most excited about first, and that will give you that boost of energy from completing that task to then use the rest of the energy and spread it along the other things that you don't super like. I also talked about, like we talked about this earlier, like calling in other people to help you, using body doubling, or adding things that do bring you joy and excitement to the tasks that you don't want to do. So that's the try to outsource them or balance with things that bring you joy. So like I said earlier, if you have to do your taxes, put on your favorite show, get your favorite coffee or your favorite drink, get your blanket, get all the things that you need that are going to help you get through this. Um, and then you're not here to just be a worker bee. You're here to create and build an enthusiastic world. That's what we're showing. As generators, you're showing the world it's worth spending time on the things that you love. And when you focus on the things that you love, the world is just a better, happier place. Lots of people have built really amazing things, invented amazing things from this energy, as opposed to just like we see like with capitalism, it's wash, rinse, repeat. There's no joy, no creativity, it's just money. Generators are here to do the joy, the creativity, the actual spending time that it takes to like these are like I said, artisans, craftsmen, people that understand it's worth like putting a lot of yourself into something. Accept that your life is an unfolding journey that is calibrated by listening to your gut. The path unfolds when you make space for it to. So, again, we don't know where we're always going to end up as a generator, but we know that what we want now and what we want in the near future by listening to the sacral or the emotional response that you have. And then the more you listen to that and the more you calibrate it, the better and the easier your purpose will unfold, your path will unfold. It won't be so hard. You won't have so many obstacles. You might still make mistakes depending upon your design, especially if you're a three line. But you'll still be able to see, oh, wow, I am moving forward and I'm doing these things. If you don't use up your daily energy with the things that you like, you will feel restless and anxious at the end of the day. So try and find those outlets that allow you to output your energy, even if it's like small little things in your day, like mundane pieces. You don't have to create an art piece every single day, but maybe you want to like do your makeup really pretty, or maybe you want to like organize the leaves on your walk in a very aesthetically pleasing way, right? Like those are all little things that we can do that can envelop more joy and passion and allow us to express whatever our creative outlets are, whatever our passion is. Maybe like if you're really passionate about writing, you just write 5 minutes a day, or you want to edit, you just pick editing someone's paper online. You don't even need to tell them. Like it's just how your energy wants to be used. And you can even ask yourself, like, if I don't have any responsibilities, if I don't have any tasks on my to-do list, what would I want to do right now? And let your body answer that and then try and incorporate it in. Like for me, a lot of the time it's like take a bath. And then I'm like, and then it's like the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I'm too tired to take a bath now. So our body will be able to tell us those things the more we create that dialogue. Get ready for bed before you are tired. So that way, when your energy runs out, you can just slide right into bed. This happens to me literally every day. I try so hard. Um, you sometimes don't get like a advanced warning system, like in 30 minutes, your energy will run out and you will be tired and you will go to bed. Like sometimes it's just like, and I'm tired. So if you prioritize like getting all your ducks in a row like a little earlier in the evening, it'll feel a lot better. And it'll also like add to that sense of like, oh, I did things. Like I don't feel as restless and anxious because I like prepped my lunch for tomorrow, or I like spent some time brushing my teeth and showering and doing all those things. And so I'm going to feel better when I wake up tomorrow. So that's like a pro tip for generators, is to try and get your nighttime routine a little bit earlier or fold it in some way so you're not just like, oh, I fell asleep on the couch again. Here I am. And that's my last piece. So yeah, if y'all have any questions or things, let me stop sharing my screen. There we go. Yeah, I know it's just you to me, but if you don't have
I
any
was just
questions,
gonna say, with the sleeping thing,
hmm?
and this could be a generator thing, it's just when I'm tired, I have to sleep. And if I fight that sleep, even for 5 minutes, I'm up all
Yeah.
night. So it's just
Yes.
like when it hits you, you gotta follow the pattern.
Yes. Yeah, you have to listen to that. It's like tank is empty, gotta recharge. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, if there's no questions,
Yeah, it's
I'm
wild.
complete.
No questions. Thank you, though. I'm glad I caught the tail end of it.
Yeah, definitely tune in for the
Thank you for
beginning.
showing up.
Yeah, thanks. Just got out of work, but I will look forward to reviewing the recording.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I should be able to upload it within the next day or two. So it shouldn't, I'm usually fast with these things, guys. So
Yeah.
yeah, I look forward to uploading this probably tomorrow. And I'll make a little beautiful picture of you, love. Love, how can we follow you? Where can we find you? Are you offering any readings right now? Um, all the things. Plug your jams.
Yes, so I'm on Instagram, Threads, TikTok. I don't know. The change is happening tomorrow, so we'll see about that. Under Love Sachartoff. So Love, Love, Sachartoff, Sachartoff. My website is also lovesachartoff.com. So you can like DM me on any of those platforms. Go to my website. I'm on Google as well. Um, and yes, I do a lot of things. I'm a manifesting generator, so I do many things at once. So I do like psychic readings, I do like past life channeling, Akashic records channeling, I do energy healing, I do astrology and human design readings. I also do human design coaching if you want to like learn how to like detox and integrate sustainably your design as much as possible. What else do I do? I feel like I'm missing like a whole bunch of things. I normally host events in my
You do
local Los
Reiki.
Angeles area. Yes, energy healing, yeah, Reiki. And then I have a Substack as well. So if you want to learn more about human design through there, I also talk about like witchcraft, spell work things and like astrology things on there. My psychic ponderings and things like that. That's a great place to connect with me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just ended my year ahead reading sale, so I don't have like too much going on. And I also have a podcast. Just do a lot of things. So
I
yeah,
love your podcast.
thank you. Yeah, you can listen. All the stuff is linked in all my bios, so in one place.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. We're going to wrap it up for tonight, and everyone have a great evening.
Yes, bye.
Bye.
Okay, and then I need to stop recording. Stop recording.